Members,
Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the office of leaders and county assemblies for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants whom you've been pleased to call. I direct that the quorum bell be rung for the first 5 minutes. Not the whip, not even the leader of majorities, Honorable Tom Nyaoke. I appoint you to act as the whip, to whip the members to come in. As you go out, no member shall leave the house apart from Honorable Nyaoke, who will go out to whip the members. think can tell the session time to stop ringing the bell. Clerk, take us through the order of the day.
The third assembly, third session, order paper number 254 of today, Tuesday, 12th November 2024 at 2:30 p.m. Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Honorable members, I have got 2 communications to make. Number 1, I want to request that tomorrow after the session, second session, that is, afternoon session, we converge here for a small camp Kunji. It will take maybe a few minutes. That is tomorrow, Wednesday, the 13th of November 2024, immediately after the afternoon session. Seeing the leader of majority is here, I think we have given notice. Maybe as leaders we can meet after today's session. Immediately after today's session, we'll meet as leadership, but tomorrow, after the afternoon session, we can meet the small camp Kunji. I also want to convey that we received sad news on the demise of the chairman, Kisumu County Public Service Board, the Honorable Babu Karan, who passed today in the morning. And being the chair of Public Service Board, who works with the Kisumu County government, where we both belong, maybe you can just rise for a 1-minute moment of silence. But alongside, also remember that the founder clerk of this assembly, one Mr. Otiende, who is also the husband of the current CEO of Kisumu County Revenue Board, Madam Benta, also passed. For the 2 of them, maybe a minute of silence. Thank you. May their soul rest in peace. Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
The Honorable Leader of Majority.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise pursuant to orders number 42 to see which gives me an opportunity to present and lay on the table of the County Assembly a statement informing the members of the business coming before the House on the following week. Honorable Speaker, this is therefore to bring to the attention of members and the County Assembly that for the week commencing Wednesday, 13th November 2024 to Tuesday, 19th November 2024, the Select Committee on Assembly House Business at its last meeting approved the following tentative business to appear in the order paper as follows. On Wednesday, 13th November 2024, at 9 a.m., papers to be laid. The Leader of Majority will lay on the table of the County Assembly the following. 1. Kisumu County Executive Quarterly Report and Financial Statements for the period ended 30th September 2024. 2. Kisumu County Revenue Fund Quarterly Report and Financial Year ended 30th September 2024. 3. Kisumu County Assembly Report and Financial Statements for the financial year ended 30th June 2024. Commencements of business. The Chairperson Finance and ICT Committee Honorable Karen Odhiambo will move a motion for adoption of the committee report on consideration of the Kisumu County Executive Quarter Report on financial statements for the period ended 31st March 2024 and Kisumu County Revenue Fund Report and financial statements for the period ended 31st March 2024. On Wednesday, 13th November 2024 at 2:30 p.m., statements to be given. Honorable Regina Gizito intends to seek a statement from the Chairperson of Medical Services, Public Health and Sanitation Committee regarding the growing mental health challenges within Kisumu County, specifically the rising cases of post-traumatic stress disorder and depression. 2, Honorable Joachim Okech intends to seek statements from 1, the Chairperson of Finance and ICT on the matter of disposal of movable assets in the county. 2, the Chairperson of Labor and Social Welfare Services Committee on compliance with Section 80 of the Public Service Commission Act 2017 and Regulations 71 of the Public Service Commission's Regulations 2020 by the County Public Service Board on the mandatory retirement age provisions. Honorable Frederick Adonija Odari intends to seek a statement from the Chairperson of Agriculture, Fisheries, Livestock Development and Irrigation Committee regarding the schedule of the use of plowing tractors purchased by the County Government of Kisumu. The Chairperson, that is commencement of business, the Chairperson Sports, Culture and Youth Affairs Committee, Honorable Nancy Matara, will move a motion for adoption of the report on the status of various cultural sites and football pitches within the county. On Thursday, 14th November 2024 at 2:30 p.m., commencement of business, the Chairperson, PICPAC, Honorable Kennedy Uko, will move a motion for the adoption of the committee report on the examination of the Auditor General's report on the financial statements of Kisumu County Social Health Insurance Fund, financial years 2020, 2021, 2021, 2022, and 2022, 2023. On Tuesday, 19th November 2024 at 2:30 p.m., the Leader of Majority will issue statement pursuant to orders number 41-2C on the business coming before the County Assembly for the week commencing Wednesday, 20th November 2024, and commencement of business. The Chairperson, PICPAC Committee, Honorable Kennedy Uko, will move a motion for the adoption of the committee report on the examination of the Auditor General report on the financial statements of Kisumu County Executive Financial Year 2021-2022. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Next order.
Commencement of business. Order number 8, motion on the report of the selection committee on the realignment of committees by the Honorable Leader of Majority.
Honorable Leader of Majority.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I rise to move a motion, the report of the selection committee on the realignments of committee membership in the County Assembly. Honorable Speaker, the standing orders provide that selection committee in consultation with the County Assembly parties shall nominate members to serve in various sectoral and select committees. It is important to note that the County Assembly of Kisumu, as currently constituted, does not have a minority party, and the only party represented in the House is Orange Democratic Party, and the Speaker has made a pronouncement on the same. In view of these consultations done by the committee as regards the nomination of members to serve in committees was only restricted to one party, and that is ODM. Apart from consulting with the parties represented in the Assembly, the selection committee is also required to consider gender balance to measure up the statutory 2/3 gender balance, among other factors. Honorable Speaker, standing orders. Honorable Speaker, protect me from Honorable Chele.
Honorable Chele, what is it? But we give the leader of majority time to move his motion.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The approval process and the process of discharging members from committees, they are outlined below in Standing Orders 155-2, Standing Orders 156-1, Standing Orders 156-2. Honorable Speaker, in addition to the consideration of gender regional balance, the Standing Order number 157 outlines the criteria to be followed by the Committee on Selection while nominating members to serve in various committees. Standing Order 157.1 provides that in nominating members to serve on a select committee, the Committee on Selection shall ensure that the membership of each committee reflects the relative majorities of the seats held by each of the county assembly parties in the county assembly. Standing Order 157.2 provides that a member belonging to a party other than a county assembly party or independent member may be nominated to serve in a select committee, and the allocation of membership of select committees shall be as nearly as practicable proportional to the number of members belonging to such parties and independent members. Standing Order 157.3 provides that, except as the county assembly may otherwise resolve on the recommendations of the Committee on Selection for reasons to be stated, no member shall be appointed to serve in more than 5 sectoral committees. And I repeat that no members shall be appointed to serve in more than 5 sectoral committees. Honorable Speaker, consequently, Standing Order number 160 provides for the number of completion of select committees. Thus, it states that subject to any written law, the standing orders or a resolution of the county assembly, a select committee shall consist of an odd number of members, not being less than 11 and not more than 15. Honorable Speaker, taking into consideration that all committees are already constituted and are currently active, the Committee on Selection, while considering all factors as indicated above and in consultation with the parties provided for in law and the standing orders, as herein realign members to serve in the respective committees as listed below. Members representing honorable members in the County Assembly Service Board. 1, Honorable Pamela Yo, who is the Vice Chairperson of the County Assembly Service Board. 2, Honorable Othutho Abaja becomes a member. Speakers panel. First panelist, Honorable Seth Okumu. Second panelist, Honorable Karen Ajuang. Third panelist, Honorable Milo Ginga. Then we have members representing members of this assembly in CAF. We have 2 members representing the assembly directly into the National Governing Council, and that is Honorable Kennedy Ouko and Honorable Miki Awur. We have these members representing the assembly in the chapters in CAF. So the member that will represent the county assembly in the youth chapter in CAF is Honorable Regina Kizito. In PWD's chapter, Honorable Kennedy Ajuang, and in sports chapter, Honorable Nancy Matara. Selection committee. One, Honorable Kennedy Oko becomes the chairperson. As per the standing orders, the chief whip becomes the vice chairperson. 3, Honorable Frederick Adonijo Dari. 4, Honorable Tom Nyaoke. 5, Honorable Millicent Omoya. 6, Honorable Jennifer Bonyo. Honorable Vitalis Komudo, Honorable Atiba Iton, and Honorable Pamela Yo. General Oversight Committee is composed of all members of the assembly. At times when you ask members, they don't want to identify that they are members of the General Oversight Committee. Yet this is the only committee that automatically meets every week. That is on Thursday of every week. House Business Committee, Chairperson Honorable Lisha Jakoraro, Vice Chairperson Honorable Nerea Kombo, members Honorable Kennedy Oko, Honorable Seth Kanga, Honorable Seth Okumu, Honorable Umbo Wade, Honorable Eunice Alanda, Honorable Karen Odhiambo, and Honorable Jennifer Bonyo. Appointments Committee. Chairperson Honorable Lisha Jakoraro, Vice Chair Honorable Georgia Baja, Members Honorable Millicent Omuya, Honorable Kennedy Oko, Honorable Seth Kanga, Honorable Zachary Okoye, Honorable Narea Kombo, Honorable Vitalis Komudo, Honorable Karen Odhiambo. Budget and Appropriations Committee. Chairperson Honorable Joaquim Okech, Vice Chairperson Honorable Geoffrey Warindu. Members Honorable Seth Okumu, Honorable Narea Kombo, Honorable Atiba Iton, Honorable Kennedy Oko, Honorable Moses Ochele, Honorable Seth Kanga, Honorable Jennifer Bonyo, Honorable Vincent Jagongo, Honorable Georgia Baja, Honorable Umbo Wade, Honorable Karen Odhiambo, Honorable Ruben Rakwach, and Honorable Pamela Uyo. Powers and Privileges Committee. Chairperson Honorable Lisha Jakoraro, Vice Chairperson Honorable Benson Adega. Members Honorable Emil Ogenga, Honorable Gina Kizito, Honorable Nazi Matara, Honorable Ano Chola, Honorable Samuel Onyango, Honorable Vitalis Komudo, Honorable Kennedy Ouko. Procedure and Rules Committee. Chairperson Honorable Elisa Jakoraro. Chairperson Honorable Elisha Jakoraro, Vice Chairperson Honorable Gado Lema, Members Honorable Pamela Oyo, Honorable Narea Kombo, Honorable Kennedy Oko, Honorable Kennedy Ouko, Honorable Vincent Obuya, Honorable Emil Ogenga, Honorable Kennedy Ajuang. Public Accounts and Investment Committee. PICPAC. Chairperson Honorable Kennedy Ouko, Vice Chairperson Honorable Tom Nditi. Members Honorable Ruben Rakwach, Honorable James Omolo, Honorable Nazi Matara, Honorable Abili Nyasona, Honorable James Were, and Honorable Miki Ochieng. Implementation Committee. Chairperson Honorable James Omolo, Vice Chairperson Honorable Henrietta Bodo. Members Honorable Vincent Jagongo, Honorable Ano Chola, Honorable Geoffrey Warindu, Honorable Miki Awor, Honorable Karen Oparo, Honorable Atiba Iton, Honorable Mildred Ajumbo. Delegated County Legislation Committee. Chairperson Honorable Miriam Abed, Vice Chairperson Honorable Peter Basso. Members Honorable Moses Ochele, Honorable Karen Oparo, Honorable Samuel Dede, Honorable Kennedy Ajuang, Honorable James Omolo, Honorable Abili Nyasona, Honorable Henrietta Bodo. Agriculture, Fisheries, Livestock Development and Irrigation Committee. Chairperson Honorable Eunice Alanda, Vice Chairperson Honorable Billy Oliver. Members Honorable Samuel Dede, Honorable Morris Ngeta, Honorable Gado Lema, Honorable Pamela Oyo, Honorable Vincent Jagongo, Honorable Tom Nditi. Medical Services, Public Health and Sanitation. Chairperson Honorable Vincent Jagongo, Vice Chairperson Honorable Emil Ogenga. Members Honorable Seth Okumu, Honorable Joaquim Okech, Honorable Narea Kombo, Honorable Umbo Wade, Honorable Kennedy Oko, and Honorable Tom Nyaruke. Sports, Culture, Gender and Youth Affairs Committee. Chairperson Honorable Nancy Matara, Vice Chair Honorable James Were. Members Honorable Eko Pete, Honorable Zachary Okoye, Honorable James Omolo, Honorable Benson Adega, Honorable Miki Awor, Honorable Morris Ngeta. Land, Housing, Physical Planning and Urban Development. Chairperson Honorable Atiba Iton, Vice Chairperson Honorable Tom Nyaruke. Members Honorable James Were, Honorable Moses Ochele, Honorable Joaquim Okech, Honorable Zachary Okoye, Honorable Georgia Abaja, Honorable Seth Kanga. Education, Technical Training, Innovation and Social Services Committee. Chairperson Honorable Seth Okumu, Vice Chairperson Honorable Abili Nyasona. Members Honorable Bill Oliver, Honorable Kennedy Ouko, Honorable Samuel Onyango, Honorable James Omolo, Honorable Benson Adega, Honorable Regina Kizito. Infrastructure, Energy and Public Works. Chairperson Honorable Ruben Rakwach, Vice Chairperson Honorable Ano Chola. Members Honorable Vincent Obuya, Honorable Georgia Baja, Honorable Jennifer Bonyo, Honorable Kennedy Oko, Honorable Umbo Wade, Honorable Kelvin Oraro. Finance and ICT Committee. Chairperson Honorable Karen Odhiambo, Vice Chairperson Honorable Mua Wade. Members Honorable Joaquim Okech, Honorable Mildred Ajumbo, Honorable Oiko Pete, Honorable Benson Adega, Honorable Tom Nyaruke, Honorable Gado Lema. Labor and Social Welfare Committee. Chairperson Honorable Zachary Okoyo. Vice Chairperson Honorable Oiko Pete. Members Honorable Kelvin Oraro, Honorable Alice Wajewa, Honorable Benson Adega, Honorable Vincent Omoya, Honorable Regina Kizito, Honorable Miki Award, Honorable Emil Oginga. Administration of Law, Justice, Constitutional Affairs, Good Governance and Security Committee. Chairperson Honorable Moses Ochele, Vice Chairperson Honorable Kelvin Oraro, members Honorable Robert Nakwach, Honorable Samuel Nyango, Honorable Miriam Abed, Honorable James Were, Honorable Ano Chola, Honorable Oiko Pete. Water, Environment, Natural Resources and Climate Change. Chairperson Honorable Samuel Dede, Vice Chairperson Honorable Miki Award, members Honorable Abilia Sona, Honorable Peter Baso, Honorable Pamela Oyo, Honorable Geoffrey Warindo, Honorable Maurice Ngeta, and Honorable Millicent Omwe. Trade, Tourism, Industry and Marketing Committee. Chairperson Honorable Alice Wajewa, Vice Chairperson Honorable Kenny Dajuang, members Honorable Samuel Dede, Honorable Mildred Ajumbo, Honorable Yuri Salando, Honorable Peter Bass, Honorable Bill Oliver, and Honorable Adonijo Dari. Ward Development Committee. Chairperson Honorable Vitalis Komudo, Vice Chairperson Honorable Samuel Onyango, members Honorable Alice Wajewa, Honorable Mary Mabed, Honorable Peter Bass, Honorable Caroline Oparo, Honorable Kenny Dajuang, Honorable Bill Oliver, and Honorable Henrietta Bodo. Welfare and Equal Opportunity Committee. Chairperson Honorable Mildred Ajombo, Vice Chairperson Honorable Maurice Ngeta, members Honorable Tom Onditi, Honorable Miriam Abed, Honorable Caroline Oparo, Honorable Geoffrey Warindo, Honorable Eunice Alanda, Honorable Anno Chola, Honorable Frederick Odari. Liaison Committee members Honorable Chairperson Honorable Nerea Kombo, Vice Chairperson Honorable Vincent Jagongo, members Honorable Elisha Jakoraro, Honorable Rakwach Ruben, Honorable Boyton Ratib, Honorable Musa Ochele, Honorable Alice Wajewa, Honorable Samuel Dede, Honorable Kennedy Ouko, Honorable Zachary Okoyo, Honorable Karen Odhiambo, Honorable Seth Kumu, Honorable Yus Lando, Honorable Miriam Abed, Honorable Henrietta Bodo, Honorable Nancy Matara, Honorable Vitalis Komudo, Honorable Jackie Mukech, Honorable Kennedy Ouko, Honorable Mildred Jumbo, Honorable Seth Kanga, Honorable Lumbo Wade, Honorable Jenny Fobonyo, Honorable Miloginga, Honorable Pamela Oyo. Sorry. From number 14, we have Honorable Maria Mabet, then Honorable James Omolo, then Honorable Nancy Matara, then Honorable Vitalis Komudo, then Honorable Joachim Okech, then Honorable Kennedy Oko, Honorable Mildred Ajombo, Honorable Seth Kanga, Honorable Lumba Owade, Honorable Jenny Fobonyo, Honorable Miloginga, Honorable Pamela Oyo, and Honorable Georgia Baja. So there is something I want to explain about the liaison committee. It is composed of all the chairs of the committees and the leadership. And the leadership include all the 2 members representing us in the board and members of the speakers panel. I think that's very clear. And I also want to make some correction in the appointment committee. The vice chairperson is Honorable Millicent Omuya. Committee recommendation. Honorable Speaker, based on the consultations, objectivity, inclusivity, and extensiveness exhibited by the committee in undertaking the foregoing exercise and its resultant output herein, the committee makes the following recommendation: that this House approve the realignment of members nominated to serve in various committees as detailed in this report, pursuant to Standing Order number 158 of the Kisumu County Assembly Standing Orders, and that the County Assembly Clerk immediately effect the changes. So that means that if the House approves this report, then it takes effect immediately. So if there is a committee that is out, and you are a member of that committee and you've been withdrawn from that committee, make sure that you come back home and you go to the committee you belong to. And if you are a new member of that committee and the House approves, then you start moving to where that committee is. That members take up the committee work seriously by attending meetings and actively contributing to the agenda. and deliberations before their respective committees. Honorable Speaker and honorable members, I want to tell this to the chairs, the chairpersons and the vice chairpersons. From today, if you don't take your work seriously, and members of your committee feel that the chair or the vice chair, they are not doing their work properly, and they sign for your removal, I think as a selection committee will effect the changes as requested by the members. So make sure that if you're a chair or a vice chair, take your work seriously. If members decide that they're removing you and they have signed and it is brought to the selection committee, don't blame anybody. You just blame yourself as a chair or as a vice. Lastly, the liaison committee to follow up and take the necessary actions on the committees that are lagging behind in terms of executing the work assigned to them by the assembly. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And at this time, I would like to ask the Deputy Majority Leader, Honorable Numbo Wade, to second the report. Thank you.
Honorable members, now that the report of selection committee on the realignment of committees, I repeat, a motion on a report of selection committee on the realignment of committees have been moved by the leader of majority, seconded by the deputy leader of majority. As per our standing orders, I want to propose a question. And I propose that the motion report of selection committee on the realignment of committees is open for debate. Yes, the Honorable Chief Whip.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to associate myself with the report of the selection committee as a member, Mr. Speaker, and at the same time as the Vice Chair, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, since we were elected into this assembly, it's now coming to approximately 2 years. And Mr. Speaker, as the representatives of the people, our cardinal responsibility is to oversight, I believe, the executive wing of the government, especially through our committees, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, you are aware that when we came to this assembly, at your election, which I believe was very emotive, and as a result, divided this assembly. And Mr. Speaker, as leadership of this assembly, we have tried to harmonize and bring this house together. As you are aware, to serve in various committees, not only in committees, but also to the leadership of this house, Mr. Speaker. That's a privilege of the party, Mr. Speaker. And sometimes we abide by the party rules in nominating members into this house by consulting various leadership organs of the party, including the leadership of our county, headed by the governor. Mr. Speaker, we have tried to bring all the honorable members on board. And Mr. Speaker, this is not the end game. As you are aware, the performance of our committee members in various committees, especially in leadership of various committees, I don't want to say that all the committees are perfect. Some of the committees are not up to the task, Mr. Speaker. As you are aware that our work, as I said earlier, is to oversight the county government. Mr. Speaker, I want to implore the members who have been nominated into these committees, Mr. Speaker, if the members pass this report, to work. And I want to be in concurrence with the suggestion of the majority leader that we have always nominated chairman and vice chair of various committees, Mr. Speaker. And that is not ultimate. The standing orders clearly also stipulates how chairman or vice chairs should be removed from office. And Mr. Speaker, we have held that in abeyance for long. So this time, Mr. Speaker, if you don't perform in your committee, Mr. Speaker, we will not hesitate to allow members to elect or censor such members, such chairmen of various committees who do not perform, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, people do rush, and I want to tell you, Mr. Speaker, people do rush to co-opt themselves into committees, Mr. Chair, when committees are going for benchmarking or wherever they are going to do outside this assembly, especially outside this county, Mr. Speaker, for purposes of getting per diems. But when it comes to work, Mr. Speaker, the content of what our committees are doing, especially some of the critical committees like implementation, which is a critical committee, we should form the basis of how the county government implements projects within various financial years. We are coming to the second quarter of the financial year. While we'll be going for recess in December, it will be past half of the financial year. Yet some of the projects have not been procured. We have not even seen the procurement plan as tabled by the implementation committee in this honorable house, Mr. Speaker. And the reasons and to why some projects cannot be procured in the second quarter, while the assembly, through the executive, appropriated funds towards these projects. A committee like the Finance and Public Accounts Committee, which I believe the Honorable Ouko, my friend Ouko Daktari, who is up to the task, should even tell us the pending bills, including the Finance Committee, what has been paid, what we have been allocated, what remains which has not been paid. That is the ultimate work of the various committees. Mr. Speaker, other issues which should be checked on, Mr. Speaker, is the issue of huge wage bills, Mr. Speaker. And I went to employ my friend, the Honorable Chair of JLAC and the Chair of Labor, Mr. Speaker, to dig deep and tell us the real wage bill which the county government is supposed to pay at the end of the month. Because we are being told that at the start of Professor Peter Nyang'nyong'o's tenure, the wage bill was 270 million. Currently, it's 420 million. Yet we are not told that how many people are employed. Like the cases whereby we advertise 60 employees, but when appointment letters are given, Mr. Speaker, you'll find that 100 people have been employed. Yet we appropriated as an assembly money to employ 60 people. Where is this money going to come from? This is the work of the committees. Sometimes we may blame the governor, but there are several people who are responsible for such malpractices, Mr. Speaker. Those are the work of the committees. We have been here for 2 years, Mr. Speaker. Now it's our time to judge ourselves, Mr. Speaker. Because the people of Kisumu County will judge us. Some of us are still in politics. But the legacy of Professor Peter Nyang' also must be maintained. So that as an assembly, we should help the governor. Because the governor governs through people. The governor governs through the assembly. The governor governs through executive, through the CECs, whom he has appointed to perform in various roles. Who is supposed to check and oversight the CECs? It's the assembly. Mr. Speaker, when the assembly will be going, the committees will go to dig deep and present those reports within this house. Mr. Speaker, it will not be witch hunting, Mr. Speaker, but it's a matter. Sometimes we are in this assembly, and I'm happy that, Mr. Speaker, you have made the assembly we have live broadcast, Mr. Speaker. When we do oversights in this assembly, we do it through live broadcast. And the people of Kisumu County will be able to judge whether doing Yang is witch hunting a certain CC by monitoring us through the live broadcast, so that the people are saying that so and so. But I believe we have tried as an assembly, which was witnessed, and I want to commend the appointment committee. When we interviewed 2 officers here, and the assembly ultimately refused to pass those officers because they failed when they were being interviewed in this assembly. That's as a result of live broadcast, because everybody saw that those people were not up to the task. So, Mr. Speaker, let's just implore these honorable members who have been appointed to committees to move with speed, do their work, so that as leadership, we are also be seen to be working for the benefit of the community. This is not the hand, Mr. Speaker. There are some members who had no committees. But, Mr. Speaker, we have tried. We have tried as leadership. I know the majority leader had got a rough time in pleasing the members, because all the members were asking to the majority leader. I believe me, I have the benefit of telling the people the truth, so they were not rushing to me. I didn't receive any calls. But people want to maintain their committees. Somebody wants to maintain 8 committees, 6 of them. The other time they were saying that Adwin Yang is a person who has several committees. Nobody came to my defense, yet some members had more committees than I. But I've kept quiet. But I'm pleased. Those members saw the need and they ceded by leaving some committees. And now at least members have at least 3 committees. As I hear the Honorable Nyaoke was complaining too much. Nyaoke, just start with those 3 committees. As time goes by, when some members fail that the committees are theirs, then as leadership will stamp our authority by saying that you have in this committee, you have had the latitude of proving to this honorable house or to the members of the Kisumu County that you can perform, yet you have failed. Now it's high time now that we try the Honorable Nyaoke from this committee, including even reshuffling members from various committees. Because when one person stays in a leadership position for some times, then he takes matters for granted. Let's test it by even removing Honorable Dede from the chair of water to the education committee. Then we remove the set from education to water, so that we see some element of experience. What did you experience in water that is not happening in education department? What did you not experience in a JLAC which is not happening in labor? What did you experience as a vice chair that is not happening when you are a chair? Mr. Speaker, those are the dynamisms of the leadership of various committees as far as oversight is concerned. So I implore the members to pass this report so that we ensure that we do our work for posterity of our county. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, I rest my arguments. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I will also rise to give my few comments on the report before the House. Mr. Speaker, it is the work of the members of this House to do their oversight, as has been echoed by the majority whip, and our oversight work is very critical. And our oversight role will only be serious and will only be seen when we decide to become strong members of this House. I want to tell this House that on the matters of pending bill that has been echoed by the majority whip, when we first came to this assembly in 2018, he was the first person to have raised that matter here. And I tell you, there was no answer. And I tell you, up to now, it is just being said in passing. Why is that happening? Proper oversight has failed on our side. If we were making decisions and sticking to decisions we make, the executive will have bowed to that. But the members who are in the committees were supposed to take that serious, know what is happening. That is the budget committee, the finance committee. They know why that report cannot come to this assembly. And I want to tell you, members, in 2021, there was a petition in this House. That petition was killed on the floor of this House. The committee was dissolved. Recently, another petition was brought, and what I saw, it was committed to the Committee of Finance and JLAC, and I hope good work will be done. When we make our decision, we take our stand, we shall be seen to be doing our oversight. That is where even the public have made comments that we are not doing well. Another matter is also coming up from time to time on the wage bill. This wage bill matter should also, to say the truth, be handled by the Committee of Finance and Budget, not Labor. Let us begin during the budget period. What are we being told on the budget figures? Nothing. But we need stories. The wage bill was from this figure and it has gone to this figure. What reasons are there? The budget committee to explain that, not the labor committee. Labor committee mostly deal with labor matters. Those who have been suspended, those who have been sacked and they're claiming it was unfair. See, departments claiming they need to employ and they're not being listened to. But when it comes to matters of wage bill, finance, and budget, not the labor committee. And if we were to sit down and discuss, I will prove that it is not the labor committee. So, our members, the element of also chairman and vice chairman, we know what we have been doing, and that is our tradition. We know this at elective post at the committee level, but people are being rewarded, and that is what we go with. Because after 3 years, a chairman shall have served, the vice chairman shall have served, a decision will be made that new elections on that be done. but we know what our tradition is. So when we shall reach a time that we should go by the standing order, we shall do it. But as of now, let us take the tradition that has been given to us. And what I heard the majority leader is saying, I think that is per the standing order. But no member should have more than 5 sectoral committees. Majority leader, that order should be relooked into. 5 sectoral committees with 1 member, that is where we find other members are not getting, the distribution is not being done fairly. Let that be looked into. The majority leader at the whip. It could be reduced to 3. Then we shall find the distribution coming down to a reasonable number. What I'm saying, majority leader, sectoral committees, a member should not have more than 5. I'm saying 5 is a big number. Let that be looked into in the standing order. And I will suggest, and members, let us discuss that the number should be reduced to 3 or 2. Then we shall find fairness in the distribution of committees. I so contribute.
Honorable Regina Kizito.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Youth representative.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for using that term, the youth representative. And I want to comment this on the committees that have just been read. I'm not satisfied as a youth, Mr. Speaker. I'm not satisfied with the committees that have been placed in. And I've also noted that I'm the only member in this house who is not a vice, which is not bad, Mr. Speaker. But I've been serving the youth of Kisumu County with or without committees, Mr. Speaker. And I'm just fine with that. I can still serve at the oversight committee, general oversight committee, Mr. Speaker. And I will also find a way of resigning from the committees that have been put because I'm not satisfied, but I will still serve the youth of Kisumu County because I've been serving them, and yeah, that is it. I'm not satisfied. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Deputy Leader Majority, Honorable Lumumba Wade.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the selection committee's report, of which I'm an outgoing member. Mr. Speaker, I highly commend the team. Mr. Speaker, this has been done in very, very good faith. One of them is for us to unite ourselves, as the whip has said that after the election of the Speaker, the House got a bit divided. But now it is time for us to come together, and one of the ways of bringing us together that we saw was also creating some division, Mr. Speaker, was the distribution of committees. The committee of selection has sat down and looked into very, very critical issues that can bring us together. One of them is to ensure that all the members at least serve in various committees as stipulated in our standing orders, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this committee of selection has really looked into some fundamental factors, e.g. the gender balance. If you look at the committees that we have, there is that gender balance. Mr. Speaker, the committee also considered the membership of the minimum membership for all the members as stipulated in our standing orders. In standing orders number 156, Mr. Speaker, that has been taken care of. And also, Mr. Speaker, if you listened carefully, what my senior majority leader has read, none of these members has more than 3 sectoral committees. Those that have more, at least I can tell, maybe 1 or 2 would have gotten 3 sectoral, but not more. So my brother, I think was not complaining, but was just reminding us that members should not have more than 5. I'm just informing him that that is a very good reminder, but we looked into it, and none of us here has anything more than 5 electoral committee, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rest my case, and I thank the members as an outgoing select committee member if it is approved as per standing order number 157.3, which I believe and I pray that this House adopt this report and we'd follow suit just as the member said. If your committee is out, immediately step out, you follow them. If you are out, immediately step out, you come back. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Tom Nyaoke, North Nyakachuan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the majority leader for the report he has just read before this House. And Mr. Speaker, it is knowledge, it is our common knowledge that serving in these committees is a privilege. It is not a mandatory thing that each of us has to work in these committees. So number one, I really don't have any problem whether I got 1 or 2, or still, better still, even if I got nothing, I would still take it with a lot of humility. Mr. Speaker, what I would wish to request is to, through Majority Leader, to have this report posted in our wall so that we are able to go through. Unfortunately, right now, I don't remember exactly which committees that have been put into. So, Majority Leader, through Mr. Speaker, maybe the Majority Leader can consider posting it into our wall, then we can be able to go through, and then we get abreast on whichever committees that we have been put to serve. Serving in these committees also is part of serving our people. So we will actually go by that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to support.
Yes, Honorable Bass.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me start by commending the committee for a job well done. Mr. Speaker, I think they've really done good to our members who did have the committees, and it's now upon them to show their ability and knowledge that they have to make impact in these committees. So I just want to commend the leadership because this will bring some fairness. I think this House has been quite divided over quite a long time, and this is another opportunity so that we come together as the third assembly so that we can improve and work for our people. I think everyone now is given an opportunity to work and show their ability to deliver and make an impact in their various committees. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support.
Honorable Bill Oliver.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to take this opportunity to thank the Committee on Selection for good work. They have tried their best to balance the assembly, and I want to raise my voice today, Mr. Speaker, to members that the opportunity that we have been given to serve this time, I want to ask members that at least through the Speaker, let us give Kisumu County value. We have different roles. We were elected in different wards, and we have members who have been nominated at different capacities. And serving in these committees is a privilege. So I want to ask members, whatever committee that you are in, we are here to serve the people of Kisumu for 5 years. The time that has remained as members, let us give Kisumu County value. I'm a member of Agriculture and I've been there for some time. I believe members of the Agriculture Committee, we are going to do our best so that at least we show something for Kisumu County in that department. And I want to ask members, this is the positions that we have been given in the committees. They are not for show. Let us give Kisumu County value, and I insist on that. And I want to thank the committee for a good work, and I believe we are going to work well for the short period that has remained and give members value. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support.
Abed?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and Honorable House. Personally, I haven't read the list because I noticed it's missing in the group, but heard that other members have been included. And I just want to echo the sentiments of my whip and other members in congratulating the committee in considering our fellow MCAs. I know that in life, sometimes when you find yourself in a place and other people are like this and others are like this, it tends to create discord among people. So I want to encourage the new members, or rather the other members that have been included in the committee, to also appreciate the gesture that at least the chair for selection has shown, so that we can work together for the good of Kisumu County. Thank you.
Honorable Zachary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me take this opportunity to thank the leadership of this House, and more so the chair of selection, and in particular, you as Mr. Speaker, for what you've done. Mr. Speaker, I think it's only a fool who doesn't want to bury the past. But a wise man like you would want to bury the past and look at the future. Mr. Speaker, as a team or as a house, we are united, and we can go further when we are united like this. And that's what I can say we are facing now. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the selection committee for adding some value in my committee by giving me Honorable Oiko to be the vice chair of Labor and Social Welfare. This is now the best time for Honorable Oiko now to come up with that vigor and intellectual advices which sometimes I see him throwing in most of the speeches he gave in this honorable house. And I believe as a team we are going to do better. In fact, when I was hearing the chief whip asking our committee to dig deeper into the various issues which are maybe affecting this honorable house, I just said that we are equal to the task when Honorable Oiko Pete is in this team, because I believe with the experience and all that what it takes, we will do the best. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I support.
Now between Honorable James and Honorable Kelvin, who is a senior member? But I see Honorable Kelvin has gone down, so let me give Honorable James.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, my brother Kelvin. Mr. Speaker, allow me to thank the Committee of Selection for being fair to members. And I think, as mentioned by the selection chair, that no member is having at least less than 3 committees. That is very fair. Mr. Speaker, it was very unfair when our colleagues had nothing or 1 committee, and we know what they were undergoing. And at least now, in terms of business of the House, they can be part of it and really contribute to our matters. Mr. Speaker, in assembly setup like this one, as state officer called here to serve the people, we can do much in the committees, as much as we can do something in the plenary, but I think most work, the donkey work of the county assemblies is done at the committee levels. And when selection committee saw it wise to give membership to these committees, then the assembly will be very vibrant to produce more. Mr. Speaker, I've seen, like my friend Honorable from North Nyakach has been placed in planning committee where I was. It is very prudent that he can now vice chair the planning committee as I go to the other one, implementation committee. Mr. Speaker, as mentioned by the Chief Whip, there is a lot to be done. In terms of our wage bill, it is skyrocketing, and I think it's our committees in this House which can tame some of the appetite we have at the executive. Because as mentioned by the Chief Whip, you find an advert mentioning the number of employees to be employed, but they even go beyond the number mentioned and injuring our wage bill. And do you know what suffers? The programs we have as development is the one which is to suffer, because with the recurrent projections and estimates, you cannot do away with them. But you can easily do away by not paying the contractors who have done the works in our jobs. So it's a matter which, as committees, that is responsible for the same, as mentioned by the Labor Committee and others, let us really look into it, that our committees should be very active and to check on this so that we move. Another issue is about implementing the projects. Mr. Speaker, it's mentioned by the Chief Whip, we are in the second quarter, we are almost cutting the financial year into half by next month, 30th. But nothing in terms of procurement is going on in this county. So it's again our committees to take charge and really make sure that the executive is doing its mandate as prescribed in the Constitution. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for this opportunity given to me to speak. And I want to say, without fear of contradiction, that sometimes I have a problem with the trust and trusting things that are not written, Mr. Speaker. I was a little bit late. I've heard that committees were read and members were slotted to different committees. My only worry is that there is no document that I could have read to see where I'm placed. And that is the reason why I have a trust problem, Mr. Speaker. You know very well that I've never even seen a document that majority leader used during that time to say that they told me not to be in a committee. But I had to accept, Mr. Speaker, the same breath that he has read that now I'm in committee, I have also to accept that sometimes documentation is very, very important. That is very important. Mr. Speaker, last year, I remember when members were almost going to your place for the burial of the, I don't know if I refer to former care, that is the time, on televised media, I realized that I've lost my committee. And the worst part of it is that the whip come from my area, a close relative, and I also say that it is the whip who has really done all this. Doesn't want me to be in the committee, Mr. Speaker. And everyone believed in that, Mr. Speaker. And maybe because of issue of politics and the issue of constituency politics and etc., almost every person in the village believed that the whip does not want me to eat. And for a time I've survived well. Few expect a lot from me because they know that I don't have money. It's Obaso and the whip who have money because they have committees in the assembly, Mr. Speaker. But today...
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
This is the point of order,
Mr. Speaker, sometimes it's good to be very, very honest. The problem with my brother, my younger brother, is not that he's not honest. And honesty sometimes takes people to greater heights. Mr. Speaker, you know what happened. The reason why some of our honorable members missed committees. And in my initial comments, Mr. Speaker, I said it. So, by my brother saying that it's me who didn't want me in committees, Mr. Speaker, it's very, very painful. And sometimes I wonder why you help a brother, then when it reaches a level, he turns against you. I don't know why. Mr. Speaker, my brother knows why he, and all the members, including you, Mr. Speaker, why this happened. I would love you even to be the whip of this honorable house, because you know that even Nadwinyang, if you remove the whip from me, I'll still remain the same person. And you will just remain Kelvin Nuraru. You don't have an acronym, you don't have a nickname. Then you come here and say that is me who didn't want you to be in the committee. Yet you know even during your campaigns, I gave you even money from my personal, from my finances, which while when you were honorable members and as a speaker, I lost on an ODM ticket at Market Milimani Ward. While I lost, I was giving him money. And yet when he was elected, for 5 years, he never gave me even a single cent. And today he's coming here to say that, what level of dishonesty is that, Mr. Speaker? Yet this man knows that even when it comes to wealth, I'm more wealthier than him. Coming first from inheritance, from my father's inheritance. And Mr. Speaker, for your information, I want to tell you for the first time, that even if it comes to land, there's nobody who wants land more than me in Kisumu County here. And he knows. So, Mr. Kelvin, just cool down. You're my brother. I love you. I will love you to the end. I will help you to the end. I will make sure that you don't sleep hungry. Even if you become member of Kisumu County and I don't become, I know you will still come to me because you don't know how to spend money.
Honorable Seth, your point is not...
Going by records.
We can give Honorable...
I'm not talking about issues here. These are issues which are in public domain. So sometimes when you are speaking, spare me out of your arguments. I am a respected person. I respect you too. Just contribute, but spare me. Because everybody knows what happened in this assembly, Mr. Speaker. Everybody knows why some members missed their committees. Everybody knows my effort, including talking to the party leader, talking to the governor, for us to bring members back to the assembly. And I always report back to the majority leader that I spoke to the party leader, he said this, I spoke to the governor, he said that, and I always compare notes with my deputy majority leader over these issues. If it were me with my authority, I could have said that even I will leave even these committees so that I stay without even a committee. Because Aduinyang can even survive without a committee. I can make whatever I can make without even being a member of this county assembly. Even if you remove the member of county assembly from me today, I'll still survive. So somebody should not say that Aduinyang is the one who did this. These are party decisions. These are purely party decisions. And even the party today can decide that it relieves me of my position and give it to Honorable Kelvin Oraro. I have no option but to congratulate him and urge him to continue performing the duties as was specified with the party. So my brother, spare me out of your political grievances. You know the person you followed, and you know why you failed to get those committees. And these are issues, even Mr. Speaker, I'm talking passionately, because some of these issues arose today, even when we were having party meetings. And Mr. Speaker, people are so dishonest that they know what they are supposed to do, they know what they are supposed to say, they know what they happened. But Mr. Speaker, they are just bringing the name of Aduinyang where it is not supposed to be. Mr. Speaker, elections will be done in 2027. Who knows where Aduinyang will be? It's only God who knows. Sometimes 2027 will come when I'm not there. Let's talk about now. Let's talk about the issues to do with the Kisumu County residents now. Let's talk about service delivery now. Let's talk about the interests of the Kisumu people now. 2027, we'll take care of ourselves.
Honorable, your point is home. But I believe if I had Honorable Kelvin,
Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Kelvin.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, I made Honorable Kelvin. I think if I had him right, he was trying to jog his memory on what he said, what you said,
Mr. Speaker.
and he was coming to terms to what is happening. Honorable Kelvin.
He got me wrong, and with all the things that he has just said, we are not here to compete about wealth. Mr. Speaker, we are not here to compete about land. If I compare my age with his age, if I am wise, I will not even talk about as if I've reached the end. People have different way of achieving things. And for that reason, I don't want to bring other issues into play. Because if somebody will talk about sponsoring you in campaign, you'll wonder from which source and how much, so that it becomes public domain. I'm in record. I became an MCA. I decided to vie. Obaso supported me. By that time, I was not even close. I never knew me as a person. He knew my father well than even me. But I was elected. I got the ticket. I never went to him to ask for a ticket. So the point, Mr. Speaker, there are things that are not necessary to bring in the assembly and boast with it, Mr. Speaker. He's a second timer, I'm a second timer. We are not talking about, I was contributing about committee, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, back to what I was saying.
Point of order, Honorable Moses, Chair.
Mr. Speaker, on the order paper and motion at hand is alignment of committees. And Mr. Speaker, the issues of Kisumu East or Kolwa Central should not arise in this House. And Mr. Speaker, if our Honorable Kelvin Oraro, that he has mentioned Honorable Due to be senior by age, then I wouldn't have exchanged I would have let that die a silent death and concentrate on the motion at hand. Because as a leader is our whip. When your father canes you, you say thank you. Because if you don't, you might miss supper in the evening. So Honorable Kevin, you sometimes have respect for age and positions. You will expect the same from people who love you. Please, thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I contribute to the motion and restrict myself to the motion. The only thing that I was doing is that this is answered. There's nothing like father, mother, or even wife. But whatever is answered need to be treated, because somebody after 20 years will look at answered and look at what we said and what was the motion and what was it all about. Whatever is said in answered is treated as official. So for that reason, Honorable Ochele, I have respect for him. He never understood what I was saying. I was saying, naturally, people from Kolwa Central believe that I don't have money by virtue that I was removed in committee, and to some extent, I made people to believe that it was him who did that. But true to the fact, as a party custodian, he was not the one. That is what I was trying to say, but he was not keen with what I was saying in the first place, and we did that. Mr. Speaker, I want to say that I enrolled in law. You gave me a lot of time. I'm doing regular, not even part-time. I just sit in class, and I was enjoying it. All this period of time, I realized that I got something else to do. And from learning, I've realized that it will take time for people to realize the importance of the assembly and the role, our role as elected officials. To be elected is not very easy. The party is there. The party will not walk and choose somebody to vie. But people will enter the party, try their luck in vying. The most popular, the party will give a ticket, and that's how I've survived for the two campaigns. To be elected as one of the popular candidates and given a ticket by the party, and I've never failed the party for that matter. So, Mr. Speaker, I've realized that as an MCA, apart from loyalty and the loyalty to the party, these are all that we members we need to play. And in the roles, I've realized that as you give committee power to legislate, committee power to look into issues, be it sectoral committee, be it select committee, we are missing a lot of things. Maybe to me, I'll see committee as a way of getting enough money to sustain maybe my salary. But at the end of it all, the committee is to make members to participate and know how executive is running down and how our resources are being spent. So if I'm given an opportunity to serve in any committee, I'll just say thank you to the whip, I'll say thank you to the majority leader and those leaders of selection committee. I've said, I don't know which committee I was placed, but I want to say thank you because they have given me opportunity to serve in a committee. And I'm looking forward to serve with that chair who will be chairing that committee and members will be in that committee. Mr. Speaker, it has been a long journey. I've survived knowing that I don't expect much from committee. But with that survival, there are a lot of things that I've missed, maybe participating or giving my participation fully by virtue that I've not been given the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, if today, from the strength of broad-based government, and because we support one president called President William Ruto now, and we're believing that even 2027, he might be our sole candidate. Mr. Speaker, with that spirit of broad-based government, we have accepted that we are all brothers and sisters. And this is a lesson that members should learn. That when you boast today, also think that there is tomorrow also. Nobody knew that Mbadi will become a minister for finance or CS for treasury. But today is CS for treasury. No one knew that even somebody like Opio Andai will be CS for energy. Life is a journey. When you sit there, laugh at your brother, know that tomorrow is also another day. Nobody knows, with the spirit, with the words of Aduinya, nobody knows what God has planned for us. That's why as members, we have tried as much as possible to have that respect. And the respect has made us to live together. Nobody will know that Nyaoke does not have committee. Nobody will know that Kelvin Orara does not have committee. We laugh, we joke, we go to Bungoma together. We don't cry every day. But it is a lesson to members and leadership. That sometimes when you are a leader, when you talk, when you act, sometimes think that there's also tomorrow. And tomorrow can change what happened yesterday. I'm happy, Mr. Speaker, that with your wisdom sometimes you stood firm for us to go to this regional and some maybe international trip. That was wisdom that I want to praise your office, that you did it well. I traveled to Uganda twice, and I benefited. Though I was not a member of a committee, but I was just an ordinary member of the assembly by virtue of my election as MCA for Kolwa Central Ward. Going forward, Mr. Speaker, sometimes when people talk, I can express a lot of bitterness because somebody has always desired to undermine me to an extent that somebody can go to an executive officer and claim that, oh, that guy is not a member, he doesn't have committee, I'm now acting on his behalf and many other things. But if today we give the spirit that we work together, let it be shown by papers and by action, Mr. Speaker. And for that reason, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that this is going to be a new journey. My participation to any committee, whatsoever that have been put, I'll do my level best. I'll respect the chair, the vice chair, and the members of that committee. And I believe that as an assembly, let us work together for the remaining 2 years to see that we can change Kisumu County. Kisumu County needs leadership. Kisumu County needs a vibrant assembly. Kisumu County needs members who can stand up and assist the governor. It is not the governor only to see and fire ministers around, but we should come out and see if these CC members given position are using their position well by giving a proper oversight role. But once I was elected, I want to thank the people of Kolwa Central Ward. That's so supreme to me. I respect them so much. They have made me to become a leader. I don't owe it to anybody, but to them and God. And for that reason, because I'm here in the assembly, the privileges that I will get, I will comply and work with the assembly without fear of any other thing, and I will respect the constitution and the standing order of the assembly. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Moses Ochele.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, may I also take this time to echo my voice on the effort made by the Chair Selection Committee plus the committee members. Mr. Speaker, it is a task that it is not easy to navigate. And I think it has taken them a lot of time, mind juggling, and consultations to balance this difficult activity. Mr. Speaker, before I proceed, I just want to remind us that my loyalty to date, till I see a signal otherwise, is to our party leader, Raila Amolo Odinga. And as I stand here today, Mr. Speaker, my president, whom I voted for, and will I wish to be in president today, is still Raila Amolo Odinga. So my president is not his president or her president. My president remains the same today, tomorrow, and when an otherwise signal will be relayed. Mr. Speaker, I started by commending the committee for doing this exercise. And one thing I want to pass across is this issue of commitment. Mr. Speaker, the biggest disease in our midst is commitment to our role as committee members, leave alone chairs and vice chairs. First, we must be committed to these committees. And Mr. Speaker, when majority leader and the team was working on the list, people were very keen and interested to know where they are placed, where they removed, and where they can survive. But Mr. Speaker, once we pass this, if at all we pass it, Mr. Speaker, people will relax and nobody will take keen interest in the committee work. And I want to echo what the Chief Whip said and was said by majority leader. Mr. Speaker, sometimes it is best to leave members to act. When a fellow member does not participate, in the standing order, we have sittings, which if you miss, then you are removed, even as a member. And Mr. Speaker, it is happening. There are members of these committees who even miss even 20 sittings without attending. But still, they get their ways in signing the register. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to ask the leadership, this register thing, because you cannot miss 20 sittings, but you are paid. You miss 20 sittings, sometimes you miss quotas because of one member or two members, But when it comes to payment through the register, they are number one to append their signatures, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, if the leadership so wish that we crack the whip in our various committees when a member is either reluctant to attend sittings or a chair is reluctant to carry out the mandate, then, Mr. Speaker, I want to believe that the leadership will support. That is my echo to members, and I believe I'm not insulting, I'm just advising us to take our committee work seriously. Because the bulk of the business in this house comes from the committee, Mr. Speaker, and that comes from your always advice that for this house to have business, business must come from the committees. And if committees do not sit, then it is like we are paralyzing the operations of this house. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, I want to advise that we improve. Finally, Mr. Speaker, in this period when some of our colleagues were out from the committees, I think I was pained the most, and I shared with Chief Whip and even Majority Leader that my best friend Nyauke is my MCA, and I saw one time when he got he was saddened and he cried, he wailed, and I felt for him because he's a good man at heart, he's a staunch debater, he's knowledgeable. And getting a brain like Nyauke being out, Mr. Speaker, it was really paining. My other friend is Honorable Abi Nyasona. Abi is my friend. He knows how I rest in the evening. And seeing him out of the committee, Mr. Speaker, it could pain me a lot, but there was nothing I could do. But at the end of the day, we echo by the word loyalty. Let's be loyal to our party, let's be loyal to our party leader, and let's have respect to some of the leadership bestowed upon us by the Almighty God. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Millicent Omuya.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm also rising to contribute, and I want to say that to congratulate the committee for the work they did. And so many times when I stand, I normally talk of our responsibility. I want to repeat that we are here for a season. We are all on transit. The way we get inside this assembly is the way we exit it. So still, it's just my humble request. Let us focus on what brought us here. Let us make our committees vibrant. Let us deliver the way we promised people that we are going to deliver. And let us avoid unnecessary fights and wars. Because finally, after this, when it will reach a time of leaving that door, everybody will be leaving. And nobody will remain because that person was a good debater, or because that person could shout so much than other honorable members. I'm just urging you that we are here for a season and for a purpose. Thank you.
Honorable Dede.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Let me also take this opportunity to congratulate the team for work well done. It seems it was a very hectic job, being that to realign the committees was not possible, which has made it today we debate on a motion which was not placed on our walls. But all in all, it has come at the right time whereby our members, colleagues who are not in the committees have now been brought back to the board. It's been indeed, we've been missing our colleagues for their contributions. Being that the realignment has been done today, Mr. Speaker, it's good that regional balance has been considered. In that the committees, you see a representation from a sub-county in almost all the committees which has been read today, Mr. Speaker. To echo my chair for the select committee, Mr. Speaker, and its team, they really did a good job, being that other members who are out and were very happy participating in other committee work. And today, we've seen that other members have been added, like in water committee, I've received a new member called Honorable Millicent Moya to be part of the team today. I know we've been missing a contribution much, but today, as from today onwards, we'll be with her and work together with her in the same committee, Mr. Speaker. And my worry is being that, Mr. Speaker, this house is also rules and orders. And as per the composition of the liaison committee, Mr. Speaker, under Standing Order 194, the composition should be under leadership, that even though it was reviewed by the powers and privileges within this house, I think it's in order that the standing order should be reviewed, so that as we read the standing order number 194, it stipulates the composition of the members of the liaison committee. Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, I know the realignment has been done today, Mr. Speaker. Other members have been taken to other committees to serve there. It's not a restriction that you should not go and participate in another committee. It's just the realignment and the number which is needed in those committees are there. If you feel like you've got an interest in water committee, you are not a member of water committee, you are highly welcome for your contribution. Dang being, we contribute together, will make us move to other level. There are other members in other committees, like I am not in another committee, but if we, at the time we are debating, kindly let's observe, members just observe whatever is more influential to the other members of the community, being that the good legislation we make in this house also provides for the betterment of our people. And finally, Mr. Speaker, let's all of us adhere to our rules, so that in case one misses to attend the meetings as prescribed, kindly let's follow the rules and observe whatever is needed. Otherwise, I thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, going by the mood of this house, I would wish to call the mover to reply. Thank you.
Honorable Leader of Majority.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, before I reply, I would like to seek your indulgence if I can go through the list as fast as possible for the sake of members who arrived late, if you allow me. Thank you. First, I want to take this opportunity to inform members that in constituting these committees, it is not the majority leader. It's the leadership of the party in this house. And that is composed of the majority leader and the deputy, chief whip and the deputy. So if you have any issue, don't point it out at the majority leader. As the leadership, we worked on this together. So if there is credit to be taken, it is for the whole leadership. If there is a problem, then we blame the whole leadership. Honorable Speaker, I'm sorry that, but before I say that, I want the members to go through the standing orders number 45, 5A and B. And I may not post this in the walls because I know the reasons why. Before I even reach my office, I will find this list in the social media. So if you are not sure with your committee, come to my office, I will read for you your committees. But once again, I want to go through it very fast. One, County Assembly Service Board will be represented by Honorable Pamela Yo, who will remain the vice chairperson of that board. The other member is Honorable Abaja or Truth. Speakers panel. Now when we talk about of committees, some of the members do not want to mention speakers panel. Speakers panel is one of the committees of this house. So first panelist is Honorable Seto Kumu. Second panelist, Honorable Karen Najwa. Third panelist is Honorable Miloginga. When I was reading members in the CAF, And it was very interesting that a member said that she's considering resigning. She can continue serving the youth wherever she is. I can say that we have more than 2 youths in this house, but we decided to nominate Honorable Regina Kisito to represent us in the youth chapter. And the members, 4 other committees, including Education Committee, including Labor, including Powers and Privilege. So I don't understand why some people feel that they should be, all these committees are the same in terms of performance. So in the county assembly, members representing us in the National Government Council remain Honorable Kennedy Uko, Honorable Miki Awuor. Members representing the youth in the chapter, youth chapter, Honorable Regina Kisito. I know we have more than one person in this house in PWDs, but we have decided to nominate Honorable Kennedy Ajwang to represent us in the chapter. In sports, we have Honorable Nancy Matara. Selection committee, Honorable Kennedy Oko, Chair, Honorable Seth Kanga, Vice Chair, Honorable Fred Kodari, member, Tom Yaoke, member, Honorable Millicent Omoya, member, Honorable Jennifer Bonya, member, Honorable Vitalis Kumudo, member, Honorable Ratibo Iton, member, Honorable Pamela Yo, member. General oversight is a functioning committee and it is for all the members. So when you are counting your committees, start with the general oversight. Number 1, committee. Write down number 1 committee is general oversight. Vice Chair is Honorable Karen Nopar. House Business Committee, Honorable Elisha Jacoraro, Chair person, Honorable Nerea Kombo, Vice Chair members, Honorable Kennedy Oko, Honorable Seth Kanga, Honorable Seth Okumu, Honorable Umbo Wade, Honorable Eunice Alanda, Honorable Karen Odhiambo, Honorable Jenny Fobonyo. Appointments Committee, Honorable Elisha Jacoraro, Chair, Vice, Honorable Vincent Omoya, member, Honorable Joja Baja, Honorable Kennedy Oko, Honorable Seth Kanga, Honorable Zachary Okoye, Honorable Nerea Kombo, Honorable Vitalis Komudo, Honorable Karen Odhiambo. Budget and Appropriation Committee, Chairperson Honorable Joachim Okech, Vice Chairperson Honorable Geoffrey Warindu, members Honorable Seth Okumu, Honorable Nerea Kombo, Honorable Boyton Ratib, Honorable Kennedy Oko, Honorable Moses Ochele, Honorable Seth Kanga, Honorable Jennifer Bonyo, Honorable Vincent Jagongo, Honorable George Abaja, Honorable Umbo Wade, Honorable Karen Odhiambo, Honorable Ruben Rakwach, Honorable Pamela Oyo. Powers and Privileges Committee, Chairperson Honorable Elisha Jacoraro, Vice Chairperson Honorable Benson Adega, members Honorable Emilio Genga, Honorable Regina Kizito, Honorable Nancy Matara, Honorable Ano Chola, Honorable James Samuel Onyango, Honorable Vitalis Komudo, Honorable Kennedy Ouko. Procedure and Rules, Chairperson Honorable Elisha Jacoraro, Vice Chairperson Honorable Gordon Lema, members Honorable Pamela Yo, Honorable Nerea Kombo, Honorable Kennedy Oko, Honorable Kennedy Ouko, Honorable Vincent Obuya, Honorable Emilio Genga, Honorable Kennedy Ajwang. Pick Pack, Chairperson Honorable Kennedy Ouko, Vice Chairperson Honorable Tom Nditi, members Honorable Ruben Rakwach, Honorable James Omolo, Honorable Nancy Matara, Honorable Abil Nyasona, Honorable James Were, Honorable Miki Ocheng. Implementation Committee, Chairperson Honorable James Omolo, Vice Chairperson Honorable Nyata Board, members Honorable Vincent Jagongo, Honorable Ano Chola, Honorable Geoffrey Warindu, Honorable Miki Awuor, Honorable Carol Nopar, Honorable Atibo Iton, Honorable Mildred Ajumbo. Delegated Legislation, Chairperson Honorable Miriam Abed, Vice Honorable Peter Basso, members Honorable Moses Ochele, Honorable Carol Nopar, Honorable Samuel Dede, Honorable Kennedy Ajwang, Honorable James Omolo, Honorable Abil Nyasona, Honorable Henrietta Bodo. Agriculture, Chairperson Honorable Eunice Alanda, Vice Honorable Bill Oliver, members Honorable Samuel Dede, Honorable Morris Ngeta, Honorable Gado Lema, Honorable Pamela Yo, Honorable Vincent Jagongo, Honorable Tom Nditi. Medical Services, Public Health and Sanitation, Chairperson Honorable Vincent Jagongo, Vice Honorable Emilio Genga, Honorable Seth Okumu, member Joachim Okech, Nerea Kombo, Lumbo Wade, Kennedy Oko, and Tom Nyauke. Sports, Chairperson Honorable Nancy Matara, Vice Chairperson Honorable James Were, members Honorable Pete Oiko, Honorable Zachary Okoye, Honorable James Omolo, Honorable Benson Adega, Honorable Miki Awuor, Honorable Morris Ngeta. Lands, Housing, Physical Planning and Urban Development, Chairperson Honorable Boyton Ratib, Vice Chairperson Honorable Tom Nyauke, members Honorable James Were, Honorable Moses Ochele, Honorable Joachim Okech, Honorable Zachary Okoyo, Honorable Joja Baja, Honorable Seth Kanga. Education, Technical Training, Innovation and Social Services, Chairperson, Honorable Seth Okumu. Vice Chairperson, Honorable Habil Nyasuna. Members present, members of the committee, Honorable Bill Oliver, Honorable Kennedy Huko, Honorable Samuel Onyango, Honorable James Omolo, Honorable Benson Adega, and Honorable Regina Kizito. Infrastructure. Honorable Speaker, I want you to remind Honorable Kelvin Orlando to stop resting his eyes because he's the one who was interested in the list. I can see you are resting your eyes. Roads, that is infrastructure, energy and public works. Chairperson Honorable Ruben Rakwach. Vice Chairperson Honorable Arno Chola. Members Honorable Vincent Obuya. Honorable Joja Baja. Honorable Jennifer Bonyo. Honorable Ken Awok. Honorable Lumbo Wade. Honorable Kelvin Oraro. Finance and ICT. Chairperson Honorable Karen Odhiambo. Honorable Lumbo Wade. Vice Chairperson. Members Honorable Joaquim Okech. Honorable Mildred Ajumbo, Honorable Iko Pete, Honorable Benson Adega, Honorable Tom Nyaoke, Honorable Gado Lema. Labor and Social Welfare, Chairperson Honorable Zachary Okoyo, Vice Chairperson Honorable Iko Pete, members Honorable Kelvin Oraro, Honorable Lisi Wajewa, Honorable Benson Adega, Honorable Millicent Omoya, Honorable Regina Kisito, Honorable Miki Awur, Honorable Miloginga. Chailak, Chairperson Honorable Moses Ochele, Vice Chairperson Honorable Kelvin Oraro, that is Honorable Adui's friend. Members, Honorable Ruben Rakwach, Honorable Samuel Onyango, Honorable Maria Mabeid, Honorable James Were, Honorable Arno Chola, and Honorable Oiko Pet. Water, Environment, Natural Resources and Climate Change, Chairperson Honorable Samuel Dede, Vice Chairperson Honorable Miki Awor, members Honorable Bill Nyasuna, Honorable Peter Baso, Honorable Pamela Yo, Honorable Gujofri Warindu, Honorable Morris Ngeta, and Honorable Millicent Omoya. Trade, Tourism, Industry, and Marketing Committee. Chairperson Honorable Liz Wajewa, Vice Chairperson Honorable Kennedy Ajuang. Members, Honorable Samuel Dede, Honorable Mildred Ajumbo, Honorable Eunice Orlando, Honorable Peter Baso, Honorable Bill Oliver, Honorable Adonija Odari. Ward Development, Chairperson Honorable Vitalis Komudo, Vice Chairperson Honorable Samuel Onyango. Members, Honorable Alice Wajewa, Honorable Miriam Abed, Honorable Peter Baso, Honorable Caroline Opar, Honorable Kennedy Ajuang, Honorable Bill Oliver, and Honorable Henrietta Bodo. Welfare and Equal Opportunity, Chairperson Honorable Mildred Ajumbo, Honorable Morris Ngeta, Vice Chairperson. Members, Honorable Tom Onditi, Honorable Miriam Abed, Honorable Caroline Opar, Honorable Geoffrey Warindu, Honorable Eunice Orlando, Honorable Arno Chola, Honorable Frederick Odari. Liaison Committee, I will not read it, but I will say that all chairs are members of the Liaison Committee, including leadership and members of the Speakers panel. Thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Speaker, I want you to protect me from the Chief Whip.
Honorable Chief Whip, what are you doing to the leader majority?
Honorable Speaker, I think doing realignment is very unpopular decision to make. And I know there are some members who did not want even to release one committee. But I think for the sake of all the members, at least to get responsibility allowance, kindly let us take it as a good move. I know there are members who are representing this house in the Assembly Service Board that were vice chairs. But now, to them, they're saying that they should be given chairs, vice chairs, to get responsibility allowance. But I also believe that in the board, they get responsibility allowances. So it gives us an opportunity, at least for other members, to get vice chairs position and for them to get responsibility allowance. So this was done by consultation with the Speaker and with the Assembly leadership. And I want to repeat, it is not Honorable Ken Awok who has done the realignment. It is the leadership of this House in consultation with the party, including the chairperson of the party, the national chairperson, and Honorable Chief Whip is my witness. Actually, when we were discussing, she talked of even giving 2. But if you look at this report, there is no member who has less than 3 committees. And I think that is good for all of us. There is no member who has, if there is a member who has 8 committees, then it is 1. And maybe by the virtue of his office or our office. So I think we've done our part. And I also want to confirm that this report has been endorsed and confirmed by Honorable Kennedy Hawk as chairperson, Honorable Seto Chienkang as vice chairperson, Honorable Atibo Iton as a member, Honorable Jennifer Bonyo as a member, Honorable Mumbo Wade as a member. I'm talking about members who have endorsed and signed. And Honorable, of course, Honorable Meloyo, Honorable Seto Kumu, Honorable Nereo Kombu. The only person who is missing is Honorable Vitalis Komudo. So it means that this report was unanimously approved by the members of the selection committee. Honorable Speaker, as I reply, I want to agree or concur with Honorable Seth Kanga that being placed in a committee is not a right. It is a privilege that is extended to you by the party. Being in this assembly is your right because you are voted by members of your ward. There was a suggestion by Honorable Oiko Pete that in our standing order we amend that no member should have more than 3 sectoral committees, because as now it is talking about not more than 5. Honorable Regina Kisito was dissatisfied with the committees that she's been placed or nominated for, but I want to mention that Honorable Regina is in General Oversight, Honorable Regina is in Powers and Privileges, Honorable Regina is in Labor Committee, Honorable Regina is in Education Committee. If there is any member that is not satisfied, kindly do a resignation letter to the chairperson of your committee. And I want to say that it is not only one. We have 3 other members who have no responsibility, and I have not had them complain. There are 3 members who are not vice chairs. But we looked at them and we decided to put them in some committees. I do not want to mention, but I think now that they missed being vice chairs, we had to consider them in some committees. And I want to say that, and I repeat, there is no member that has less than 3 committees. Honorable Nyaoka talked about posting, that one I've mentioned. Honorable Bill commended that it is well balanced. So you need to provide value to your committee. Honorable Kevin Oraro talked about documentation. I want to say that there is no better documentation in this assembly than the answered. So if you want details of this report, you can check on our Hansard. Honorable Oraro he told members of his ward that because he was removed and left in one committee, so he did not have money. So I want to tell people of Kolwa Central that from today, Honorable Oraro has a lot of money because he's been placed in so many committees. Honorable Kelvin Oraro talked about broad-based government. Yes, we are in broad-based government, but we remain members of Orange Democratic Movement Party. That one should be very clear in your mind, that as we approach 2027, or in 2027, we'll approach that election as members of ODM party, not as a broad-based government. So if you want to be a member of ODM in 2027, be loyal and be faithful to the party and the party leadership. Otherwise, Honorable Speaker, I want to end there and I do reply. Thank you very much.
Honorable members, now that the leader of majority has moved the motion on the report of the selection committee on the alignment of committees, seconded, debated, as per our standing orders, I want to put a question. And I put as many of the opinion that the motion report adoption of the report of the selection committee on the realignment of committees be adopted, say aye. As many of the contrary opinions say nay, the ayes have it. And the motion on adoption of the report of the selection committee on the realignment of committees have been adopted today, Tuesday, the 12th of November, 2024, at 16:26 hours. And the contents of the report takes effect immediately. Next order.
Order number 9. Motion on the report of the PICPAC Committee on the examination of the Auditor General's report on the financial statements of Kiwasco for the financial year 2022-2023 by the Honorable Kennedy Ouko, Chairperson.
I have a letter designating James Omolo to move the motion on behalf of the Honorable Ken Ouko.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move a motion on the report of PICPAC Committee on the examination of the Auditor General's report on the financial statements of Kiwasco financial year 2022/2023. Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Public Accounts and Investment Committee PICPAC and pursuant to the Kisumu County Assembly Standing Orders number 188, I wish to present to this House the report of the Committee on the audited financial statements of the Kisumu Water and Sewerage Company Limited financial year 2022/2023. The County Assembly exercises oversight over the county government entities, investments, and their expenditures pursuant to Article 185(3) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 through the Public Accounts and Investment Committee, which in turn derives its mandate from the County Assembly Standing Orders. It is instructive that Article 2298 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 requires the County Assembly within the 3 months after receiving an audit report to debate, consider the report, and take appropriate actions. The committee had 2 sittings during which it received both written and oral evidence from the accounting officer on audit queries raised by the Auditor General on the financial statements of the Kisumu Water and Sewerage Company Limited, financial year 2022/2023. Honorable Speaker, I wish to register my appreciation to fellow honorable members of the committee, the officers of the Speaker and the Clerk of the County Assembly, and the Committee Secretariat, and the Office of the Auditor General for the facilitation and technical support that made the production of this report possible. I also thank the management of Kisumu Water and Sewerage Company Limited for honoring committee invitations and timely submissions of responses. Special appreciations go to the Hansard Department for ensuring that all our meetings with the accounting officers are broadcasted live. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the Public Accounts and Investment Committee, I now wish to table the report on the consideration of the Auditor General's report on financial year statement of the Kisumu Water and Sewerage Company Limited for the year ended 30th June 2023, and I urge this Honorable House to adopt it. Establishment and mandate of the Public Accounts and Investment Committee. Honorable Speaker, the Public Account and Investment Committee is established under Standing Order number 188 of the Kisumu County Assembly Standing Orders and is mandated to undertake the following functions. 1. Examination of the accounts showing the appropriations of the sum voted by the County Assembly to meet the public expenditure and of such other accounts laid before the House as the committee may think fit. 2. Examination of the working of the public investment. 3. To examine the reports and accounts of the public investments. And 4. Examine in the context of the autonomy and efficiency of the public investments, whether the affairs of the public investments are being managed in accordance with the sound financial or business principles, and prudent commercial practices. Mr. Speaker, the composition of Public Accounts Investment Committee. The committee as currently constituted, though we've just amended, Mr. Speaker, you will bear with me, comprises of the following honorable members as at then. Honorable Ken Ouko as the chair, Honorable Geoffrey Wawarindu as vice chair, Honorable Setho Kumu as a member, Honorable Nancy Matara as a member, Honorable Ruben Rekwach as a member, Honorable James Were as a member, Honorable James Omolo as a member. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Speaker, Mr. Thomas Odongo, the project manager and the accounting officer, appeared before the committee on 4th October 2024 at 0900 hours to adduce evidence on the audited financial statements of the Kisumu Water and Sanitation Company Limited for the year ended 30th June 2023. The following officers accompanied the project manager. 1, Nicholas Mosetti, accountant. 2, Morino Ondeng, Kiwasco officer. The following officers represented the Office of the Auditor General in the meeting of 4th October 2024 at 0900 hours. 1, Mr. Kennedy Ongoi, Office of the Auditor General. Number 2, Ms. Daisy Mukoya, Office of the Auditor General. Basis for qualified opinion. Honorable Speaker, the Auditor General's opinion on the financial statement of Kiwasco for the year 2022-2023 was qualified, implying that except for the below issues, the financial statements presented a true and fair view of the financial position of the entity. The following issues formed the basis of this opinion. 3.1, unsupported borrowings. 3.2, unsupported customer deposits and county government contributions. 3.3, long outstanding payables. 3.4, unresolved prior years matters. 3.5, non-revenue water. 3.6, engagement of casuals beyond the stipulated period of 3 months. Mr. Speaker, summary of the observation. The committee of observations were made on the above issues, which form the basis of qualified opinion. Number 1, that the management failed to provide loan agreements, loan confirmations, and statements with details of terms and conditions, including interest rates charged to the auditors during the time of audit. Number 2, that by not providing these documents during the time of audit, the management violated Section 262B of the Public Audit Act 2015, which requires timely submissions of documents to the auditors. Number 3, that the management failed to support the balance of Kenya shillings 152,250,778 relating to water deposits with customer statements indicating specific amounts owed to each customer. However, the statements were provided at the time of the committee deliberations. Number 4, that the management included an non-current liabilities balance of Kenya shilling 15,743,834 indicated as the amount received from county government contributions. However, the details of these non-current liabilities were not provided during the time of audit. However, during the time of committee deliberations, the management clarified that the amount of Kenya shillings 15,743,834 was not an amount to be received from the county government, but a liability outstanding in favor of the county government after indebtedness reconciliation. Mr. Speaker, that the contrary, number 5, that the contrary to the requirements of National Treasury Circular number 10/2020 on prioritization of pending bills amounting to Kenya shillings 58,348,522 were found to be more than 1 year. Number 6, that during the committee deliberations, the management clarified that the bills outstanding for more than 1 year were Kenya shillings 20,644,721, with Kenya shillings 12,100,5
538 relating to the lease of payable to Lake Victoria South Water Works Development Agency. Number 7, that several prior years matters relating to the report on the financial statements and reports on lawfulness and effectiveness in the use of public resources are yet to be addressed. Mr. Speaker, thank you. Mr. Speaker, that several prior years matters relating to the report of the financial statement and reports on lawfulness and effectiveness in the use of public resources are yet to be addressed. That during the financial year 2022-23, non-revenue water amounted to 37% of the total production, which was above 20 to 25% allowable loss by the Water Service Regulatory Board. That among other efforts to reduce the non-revenue water to accepted levels, the management had established a fully fledged non-revenue water department to help reduce the loss attributable to non-revenue water to acceptable levels. On the matter of engagement of casuals beyond the stipulated period of 3 months, the management clarified that the company had stopped engaging casual laborers, that the aforementioned staffs were engaged on 1-year fixed-term contracts starting from 1st July 2022 to 30th June 2023 and were entitled to annual leave and all other benefits as stipulated by the Employment Act 2007. Mr. Speaker, summary of the recommendations. The committee summarized the following recommendations. 1, that going forward, the management must adhere to Section 62B of the Public Audit Act 2015 on the timely provisions of documents to the auditors. Number 2, that the management make necessary arrangements to settle the pending bills as per the National Treasury Circular number 10/2022/2020. Thank you. Number 3, that within 60 days of adoption of this report, the accounting officer submits to the implementation committee an implementation action plan for all the recommendations by the Office of the Auditor General and the County Assembly. Number 4, that going forward, the management must strengthen the non-revenue water department to reduce the non-revenue water within the 20 to 25% allowable limit as set by the Water Service Regulatory Body. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, Honorable Speaker, I hereby request that this House adopts this report for the Public Accounts and Investment Committee on the consideration of the Auditor General's report on the financial statement of Kiwasco for the year ended 30th June 2023. May I call upon Honorable James Were to second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, first of all, let me take this opportunity to thank the committee. And Mr. Speaker, going by the observation of the committee report, the finding is that the county is losing a lot of water to the percentage of 37%. That is non-revenue. Mr. Speaker, I'm happy that the committee has addressed on various ways on how they are going to seal on those holes to ensure that they can reduce that gap, which is a positive thing. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the recommendation, I will talk on recommendation 1. That going forward, the management should adhere to Section 62B of the Public Audit Act 2015 on the timely provision of documents. Mr. Speaker, the management should ensure that whenever audit arises, they should know that it is their responsibility to ensure that all the documentation that is required, all the documentary evidences are provided so that we don't have queries. Mr. Speaker, I therefore beg to second. Thank you.
Honorable members, Honorable Adega, you can come in. Honorable members, now that the motion adoption of the report of the PICPAC Committee on the examination of the Auditor General's report on the financial statements of Kiwasco financial year 2022-2023 have been moved, seconded. As per our standing orders, I want to propose a question. And I propose that the motion adoption of the report of the PICPAC Committee on the examination of the Auditor General's report of the financial statements of Kiwasco in the year 2022-2023 is open for debate. Honorable Tom Nyauke.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand to support this report for Kiwasco. Mr. Speaker, I want to also thank the committee that have come up with this report and to congratulate them for the details, particularly if you look at the summary of observations that they have made there on Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, they have listed quite a number of observations that we expect, and we are sure, almost certain, that if the organization can have a look at them one by one, where they have noted carefully the reasons why they are also finding difficulties and areas of shortfalls in their program and their reports, Mr. Speaker, I think we will be able to be assisting them do what they're supposed to do. Mr. Speaker, as you have seen in one of the very serious and fundamental issue that they have noted is properly given in observation number 2, that by not providing these documents, if I can quote, on time, the management violated section 62B of the Public Audit Act 2015, which requires timely submission of documents to auditors. Mr. Speaker, this is almost a series of problems that always I've seen is very common in most of our organizations, Mr. Speaker. And us as Assembly, particularly the committee that is charged on doing this, we want to still implore upon them to make sure that such kind of negligence, if it is about negligence, Mr. Speaker, then it is something that our organizations need to take very seriously. Mr. Speaker, and shortly and briefly in their recommendations, they have recommended that they must, and not only the Kiwasco, but other, this one should now go to other bodies that are in the county to make sure that they adhere to this section 62B, Mr. Speaker, because if you look at most of all these reports, you find that is one of the very serious and fundamental items that they normally neglect. I don't know purposely or willfully, or they don't know what they're doing. Then secondly, that the management make necessary arrangements to settle the pending bills. Mr. Speaker, this is also another common issue that is happening across board, the issue of pending bills. Mr. Speaker, this is one of the diseases that if we can try to cure it from this assembly, Mr. Speaker, I think we would have done a good service to our people. The pending bill is now becoming a disease that is almost becoming impossible to cure. But I think with this kind of report, Mr. Speaker, we expect a lot of changes to happen from this particular organization. Mr. Speaker, they have been given 60 days to of the adoption of this report. The accounting officer submits to the implementation committee an implementation action plan. Mr. Speaker, I beg that we also don't just look at their action plan, but we want to see them doing something. Mr. Speaker, I think even going forward, the implementation committee, I think now we have put up a new implementing
Implementation Committee, we believe that they will be able to follow up from the very beginning, even at stages, to see exactly where they have reached, so that by the time elapses, let this House know exactly what are the steps that they are taking, whether positive or negative. I beg to support, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Benny Peter.
Mr. Speaker, I also want to give my little contribution on this report. This is the audited report on Kiwasco ended 30th June 2023. It is a qualified report. That means it is a good report. The money was well spent. That is a picture given here, Mr. Speaker, which is good. Of late, Kiwasco has been getting unqualified report. But Mr. Speaker, when this report is looked into, despite being unqualified report, we don't see the finances of Kiwasco, whether Kiwasco is making profit or losses. That one is not stated in this report, Mr. Speaker. We are being told that there are some borrowings which were made and they could not provide the records of this borrowing. That is on page 8. Unsupported borrowings. When an institution at the level of Kiwasco borrows money and they cannot provide evidence to the auditors that this was money that was borrowed for this purpose, and that is one of the recommendations the auditors have made, they should make good. We need to question the way Kiwasco works, Mr. Speaker. We should not take that lightly. And now that we are not being told the surplus, we should be the profit of Kiwasco by the end of the financial year. When we go to page 11, Mr. Speaker, we are being told that the water that Kiwasco sold was about 1,641,174,780. But what they billed was 1,026,263,000. That is what they billed, the money they got. And the loss was 4,393,226. If this was the money, 1,026,000,000, that is what Kiwasco got. And when we move to page 12, number 3.6, we are being told of the wage bill. 333,498,747. Subtract that from 1,026,000,000. Almost over 600 million. So we will assume over 600 million were the operation cost. And that one is not captured in the report, Mr. Speaker. Kiwasco is a big company that we want to know by the end of the year the profit made or the loss made, so that we know that it is a going on concern, a company well managed. We should not just be given figures and stories without specific being mentioned, Mr. Speaker. When we go to page 14, that is on summary, we are again being told of some pending bills. Page 14, observations number 3. 152,250,778. These are deposits that were made by members of the public, maybe for the meters, because it is a meters where members of the public make deposits, and they cannot provide these records when needed by the auditor. And this is one of the records that the committee is referring to implementation committee to follow up. This is too much work for the implementation committee, because the implementation committee cannot sit down to audit Kiwasco. So this is a report that we shall look into in the next financial report of Kiwasco, not the implementation committee. The implementation committee cannot do auditing, cannot be given all those long lists of the members who deposited their money for the meters, and then they go through them one by one. The next audit report, we want to see the auditors, because they have highlighted this. If the company, Kiwasco company, has remembered this and done the due diligence. We are also seeing a pending bill of 58,345,522 pending bills in the company. And we are not seeing the company making profit. So how are they going to pay these pending bills? Or there are some records they provide to the auditors and others they keep under the table. So the committee must look into that matter. When a company is spending bills and in its financial record, we don't see the surplus, like the excess money for Kiwasco is called a surplus. What is happening? And when you also see the surplus for Kiwasco making excess money, in case of a breakdown, what do they do? Because I remember some previous financial records of Kiwasco, they were making surplus, that is profit, of about 5 million, 8 million. Kiwasco must be taken to task so that we see the value of the business they are doing. And there's also money that they should be remitting to the county. It used to appear in the previous records that they were not remitting. What is now happening? Are they remitting or they are not? On the non-revenue water, that stands at 37%, that is a big loss to the company. And they must put down measures to control on this. Those 37% of the total volume of water produced by Kiwasco, if it goes to waste, that is a big loss. Good effort is needed so that it is addressed. So, Mr. Speaker, the report looks good. But on proper security, it is not good. Because we are not being told that the company is making surplus, is making profit. I so contribute.
Rebel Kelvin.
Not Mr. but Honorable Oiko Pete is one of the well-known accountants, meaning that the issue of accounting is so passionate to him and he understands it to details. I don't know if you got an opportunity to be in Pick and Pack, but I like the way you have argued your point. But truth be said, Mr. Speaker, Pick and Pack as a committee don't do auditing, but they act on an audited report from the Auditor General. And from that report, most of the guidelines that they do is controlled by the work of the Auditor General. So when an Auditor General has conducted this activity and notified that although Kiwasco has been qualified to have at least conducted his business well, but there are some areas that they need to adjust. And the areas of adjustment is what now the report was giving out. And for that reason, the recommendation that the committee report to be taken to implementation does not actually hold. That is a committee recommendation number 3. You cannot, from the recommendation of Auditor General, to give a committee like implementation committee to make a follow-up. What we need to do, as advised by Honorable Oikopete, is that audit is done on a yearly basis, on a financial year. And the financial year that's in question in this report is financial fiscal year 2022-2023, meaning that we are waiting for the audit report of 2023-2024 to see if Kiwasco actually availed some of the documents and if some of the issues raised by the Auditor General are not going to appear again in the next report. If that can be realized, Mr. Speaker, it will be the duty of the committee also to have a comparison and see the auditor opinion in the previous financial year and the next financial year that will be coming, the audit report, and from there make a conclusion. One thing that I wanted to bring or to pass across, Mr. Speaker, is that Kiwasco should be treated as an investment of the county and the way parastatals are treated in national government. And the PIC in PAC committee, the PIC, the Public Investment Committee in PIC, should try and have a general view to see issues on Kiwasco and even other things about Kiwasco. I don't know if Kiwasco is directly underwater as a committee, but there are other things that has been raised directly here by the Kiwasco trying to complain about the collection, about the unbilled revenue, and you'll realize that Kiwasco as a company needs a lot of oversight so that we can dig in and find how we can improve the activity of Kiwasco. Yesterday, I saw Sakaja, His Excellency, the Governor Sakaja, Governor of Nairobi, trying to launch a project that is going to give Nairobi around 114 million liters of water every day. And I saw him in a local TV station. And for that reason, it means that Kiwasco is also gearing up to improve its activities. And we must have a substantive committee, whether the PIC in the park, that is the Public Investment Committee, that can try dig out for members to understand fully operation of Kiwasco. And then from there, there are other things that Kiwasco are raising as challenges so that we can also see on that and the issue of liability. And apart from liability, you can talk about the potential investment. We can congratulate them because of the building that was recently launched by His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga. The building done by Kiwasco, it is a good one, and we don't know that is where pending bill is because it is not clear from the report. But the audit report will not look at daily management, but it will fall so much if the PIC in the park will decide to dig in and find out more about Kiwasco. Finally, Mr. Speaker, the volume of water that is not billed is so huge that as a committee of water should take up, if by virtue Kiwasco falls into that, so that they can dig and find out strategies that Kiwasco have to follow up on reducing that huge difference. Having around 463 million liters not being accounted for is a lot of money. And that's why we have that huge loss of around 400 million loss. And for that reason, as an assembly, we should demand that apart from the audit report, a strategy must come to this assembly and we see how Kiwasco want to improve that or want to avoid that in their daily operation. And maybe as I put my last thing under summary of recommendation, the last point that I want to talk about is the issue number 2, that the management make necessary arrangement to settle the pending bill. I think it will be in order that next time when such a report is given, justification on pending bill should be clear from the committee, and they should be in a position to explain how pending bills arise in the management of Kiwasco, and if that might fall under liability of some of the things that have engaged in, it should come out clear. And as Assembly, we follow up. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support the report.
Honorable Nancy Matara. You can see your microphone is on.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Going by the mood of the House, may I call the mover to reply?
Honorable James Somola.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to reply. Mr. Speaker, this was a qualified opinion. And previously, we have got audit reports from the Auditor General relating to Kiwasco, which were much worse than this. I think, as per our previous recommendations, in the previous audit reports, they have improved a bit this year, and we commend them for that. However, Mr. Speaker, the issues raised by Honorable Iko, I think most of the recommendations here will be adhered to in the next auditing, because we deliberated with them, and most of the issues that were still making them to have qualified opinion, not a better one, we agreed with them as a committee that they will have to pull up their socks in the next audit report, and most of these recommendations will reflect on the next audit report for the year ending 30th June of 2024, and we hope that will be done. On matter spending bill, the 20 million we see, much of it is around 12 million.1. That goes relating to the lease they have with the Lake Victoria South Waterworks Development Authority. This is they have to pay the Lake Victoria South Waterworks Development Authority some statutory deductions that relate to their lease, which they have not been remitting, and I think they have a working formula to reduce it. So the bulk of that 20 billion is just for the Lake Victoria South Waterworks, not other suppliers. The remainder is what remained to the other suppliers. On the loan issue, Mr. Speaker, the loan was meant to do the building we are seeing at Tomboya Estate, the huge building. They took a loan of 100 and something million, I can't remember the exact figure, and they explained to us in the committee that that loan, the paperwork were there, and they brought them to the committee, and the auditors also confirmed that that is what they needed, and they are repaying the loan with time. But the loan was majorly used to do the magnificent building that His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga opened a few months ago, I think last year, or 2022. So that is the majorly what was the purpose for the loan, which they are currently servicing until a period of time. And in that case, they brought everything relating to that loan with the National Bank of Kenya, which they are really servicing so well in terms of what they brought to us. In terms of surplus, Mr. Speaker, being a public entity, mostly Kiwasco plow back their surplus. Whatever they make as a profit is not shared to the beneficial owners who are not the shareholders. Since county government is the sole 100% almost shareholding to the Kiwasco, they plow back the surplus to their day-to-day workings, maybe expansion of water services to other places where water was not reaching and such that. So for the surplus, that is how they treat surplus. Mr. Speaker, also adhering to the section 2062B of the Public Audit Act 2015, I think we mentioned to them that they have to adhere to this, because you find that the auditors most of the time wanted documentation to justify the expenditures, and they were not getting them in time. And I think forward they have agreed to do that in time. And as per the time we were sitting, they brought all that was required by then. And I think we made use of that opportunity to see what they were all about. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to respond. Thank you.
Honorable members, now that the motion adoption of the report of the PICPAC committee on the examination of the Director General's report on the financial statements of Kiwasco for the year 2022-2023 have been moved, seconded, and debated. As per our standing orders, I want to put a question, and I put that as many of the opinion that the motion adoption of the report of the PICPAC committee on the examination of the Auditor General's report on the financial statements of Kisumu, of Kiwasco, financial year 2022-2023 be adopted, say aye. As many of the contrary opinions say nay. The ayes have it, and the motion adoption of the report of the PICPAC committee on the examination of the Auditor General's report on the financial statement of Kiwasco, financial year 2022-2023 have been adopted today, Tuesday, the 12th of November 2024 at 17:07 hours. I direct that the recommendation of the said report be directed to the relevant stakeholder departments and stakeholders for implementation. Next order.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker and honorable members. There's no any other business to be transacted in the order paper.
Honorable members, we can be upstanding. There being no any other business in the order paper, the House stands adjourned until tomorrow, Wednesday, the 13th of November 2024, 9 a.m.